Thank you for joining C'est La Vie Designs today. I like to demonstrate a technique with Elizabeth Craft's outline stickers and Copic coloring. So to start off, I took a scrap of Stampendous mixed media white paper, and it comes in 25 sheets and 8.5 by 11, but I just had a scrap here of white. You can really use any white paper since the color is not going to go right onto the actual paper, but I just wanted to see did it look, you know, more crisp and white to me than normal if I used this particular cardstock. Secondarily, I use this Suk Wang tape. It comes out in a bunch of different, I guess, retailers. Some people call it score tape or what have you, but as long as it says Suk Wang here and it's that two-sided tape made in Korea, it's what you'll need for this technique. I also have Elizabeth Craft's outline stickers. I'm going to work on the focal for an Easter card. This particular one, oh actually no, excuse me. These are by Hot Off the Press. So they are Dazzles and they are cute Easter chick stickers. I'm so used to saying the outline stickers because that's where I started, but plenty of companies have them. And I'm going to use Elizabeth Craft's Warm Diamond glitter to do this technique. I just put mine in here because although it's a little bit, it is a lot better surface to work on than trying to deal with like one of these little pots or what have you and get everything back in there. Now if you don't have Elizabeth Craft's Warm Diamond, they also have a Cool Diamond glitter, then you might want to use a transparent glitter that you have. This one I have is an ultra fine transparent crystal glitter. I think it may even work with this Tim Holtz Distress one. You may want to try it out with the Martha Stewart clear. A lot of different glitters will work with this technique. I just like this one because it has a nice gold tone to it. So you can apply your Suk Wang tape and then trim down your piece to fit. So what I do is first I take off the sticker. I'm going to use this little chick right here. I take off the outline sticker, being careful not to disturb any of the innies because I may want to use that for another card. I'll put that to the side. It's very sticky right now. Sometimes it'll curl up on itself. You see how it's really wanting to move around. So I'll stick it on my shirt a little bit to kind of get some of the sticky off of it so that I can work with it. And you're going to want to peel off the liner paper from and keep, because this is the only thing that doesn't stick to this tape, so you want to keep that and not throw it away. So I'll peel off my outline sticker from my clothing, and it's a lot easier to work with now. And what I'll do is I'll line that up on my grid mat. I like this because it helps me to keep things straight. Of course, realizing that this is sticky. You're going to want to lay that down and then use the liner to burnish it, because this is the only thing that doesn't stick, as I mentioned before, to the Suk Wang. You wouldn't be able to use anything else to be able to push down this sticker really good. And the reason why you want it that way is because you don't want any of the color to seep out underneath the sticker. It's a cute one from Hot Off the Press. Okay. The next step is to create your glitter paper. So I put it in here. Still a little bit of hair from a brush in there. And then I just move it around and get the glitter on there and get it covered. And then I tap it off. I want to make sure I conserve as much of this glitter as possible since I'm loving this technique right now. You might want to use your finger or a brush to kind of like brush some of it off. And I use a Swifter usually to get the excess glitter off of my workspace. So once you've sufficiently gotten enough glitter on there, you can see it's all coated now. I'll put the glitter aside, and I want to clean up my work surface, but I don't think I have the appropriate thing, so I'll just, for now, take this tissue and move it to the side. Okay. What you want to do is use your finger and go over the glitter pretty hard to burnish it on there. And some people say that this makes the glitter happy. It actually looks a lot more vibrant and bright, and you also then can flick off quite a bit more that's loose there. You don't want that loose glitter when you start coloring. Put that on there. Okay, now the magic can happen. I've picked out some colors ahead of time from my Copic collection that I think that'll happen to make this a beautiful image, nice and spring-like. You can also use a brush if you want. So the important thing is to have a glitter-only Copic colorless blender, because that particularly will help you to actually blend colors. You can use one marker and you can make a two-toned effect, or you can actually use two markers like you normally would in Copic blending. So I'm going to start with the yellow for the chick, and I'll show you that way. What you want to do is you want to apply color with the side of your brush, lightly tapping it on. So as you can see, the hot off the press outline sticker keeps the color in the areas that you want to put it, and by tapping on the side lightly of your marker, you're able to color but not mess up your nib. I can see that I'll need to replace the one on my colorless blender because I use it point down for the technique that I'm doing, and it has started to kind of shed. So I laid on my first color, which is Y06, and I'm coming in with my secondary color, Y15. So what I want to do in this particular instance is to have a darker color that fades to light. So I'm going to add some more color around the eyes and above the cheeks, and then I'm going to come back in with the Y06 to blend that line out. Dabbing. So you can see that it's a little darker, a little more rosy around there. I can actually darken it up under here too. You can just keep going back in and adding color. And if for some reason, like I just got a little bit in the cheek part right here, you can use this colorless blender to actually take away that color. So it's no longer yellow where I made the mistake. And what I like to do is keep a piece of scratch paper nearby so that I can, wipe off my brush tip on so that I can make sure it's not transferring color into the wrong places. Okay, so I also think that I would like some yellow on my flower here. So I'm going to go in with the Y06 and color those. It's a very quick technique, as you can see. And if I want to make it two-tone, say, with the pink, I'll pick that up and perhaps have it go in the center. This is FRV1, fluorescent pink. And I'll go back with Y06 to actually blend the line where I start to. And so that actually gives it a little less of an intense look, seeing as it's a fluorescent color. So I like that. It looks like I need to open my fluorescent marker for a little bit. They tend to get pressure inside of them when they're shipped. I see that there's a little bit of ink coming out. I'm just going to open all of these because I don't know which one it is that's sprouting the ink. Okay. So next, I think I'm going to add a little blue. So maybe this part right here, that's the top of the egg, would be good. Okay, add a little blue. Oh, this one's very juicy. I don't want a blob to happen on my project. So if you open your marker and it looks really juicy, open the other side to suck back some of that ink, because otherwise a big blob could fall right on your project and it will be so sad because you won't be able to recover it. Okay, so I'm going to put a little blue there. Okay, and then I'm going to use the FB G2 again to blend. And again, I'm just dabbing at the line of the color. So you'll see it's a little bit darker down here, and then it starts to get lighter as it gets up. Okay, what shall we do next? This chick has some big rosy cheeks, which I did not notice before. So I may need to get a different pink for that. In the meantime, I did pull out YR07 for the beak. So let's put that on. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the one marker technique now. I just dabbed on a tiny bit of color there, and I'm going to use the colorless blender to blend that out. Starting at just below the ink line, I was able to take that ink and bring it out. It eventually fades to white, back to white, so I'm adding a little bit more color and then going back in to blend it up. So you don't need to have a lot of markers to do this technique. If you have a dedicated colorless blender and you have one of each color or one of each shade, you can still have smashing looking blending with just one marker. I wanted to zoom in real close so you'd be able to see a little bit better, more of the coloring. I'm taking the FRV1 and adding color at the base of the egg there. And I'm going to use the colorless blender to pull that color up. And this is why you need a dedicated glitter only colorless blender, because the nib gets dirty, it gets a little worn, and it starts to come off. You probably will need to replace your nib often, but it's worth it. As long as you have your other one for your regular Copic coloring, you'll be fine. But as you can see, you can move the color and fade it all the way to the top. You can go again into the bottom and darken it up so that there's more contrast. The more contrast, the better. That's what makes shading believable and so on and so forth. So you want to lightly blend that up. And to help show contrast, I'm going to use yellow. Am I going to use yellow or blue? I think I will try blue in these little ribbon loops here. And I'll do some yellow in the little dots. In small areas like this, you don't really need to do any shading. And finally, we'll need the cheeks, and I think I will do, let's try R83, maybe a little 85, I don't know, we'll see. I've used the R20 before, 21 for the cheeks, but I wanted to try something different this time. So we're going to give this chick a rosy cheek. Ooh. So using R83 and blending up, and then coming in with an R85 right at the base of each cheek. You can then use the colorless blender to blend that in and through as well. So there you have it. You can trim this down a little bit more, you can cut it out, you can use it as a block. It has a nice glittery sheen to it, and you can use it on a card. And my next video will show you how I used it on a card. Thanks so much for tuning in to C'est La Vie Designs Unlimited technique video on outline stickers colored with Copics.